This is the BMW X7. It's BMW's flagship SUV packing 3 rows of tasteful luxury with a dash of sporty. We're familiar with the X7, but for this year it gets a pretty significant update. So thanks to the generosity of our friends at International BMW, we're going to see just how good the new X7 is. Ah, the X7, the range-topping, the halo SUV in BMW's lineup. And it's got a mid-cycle refresh. I haven't driven this thing since the initial one came out a few years ago, but it's good to be back in here and understand what the pinnacle of the SUV looks like at BMW. Now, typically when you get a refresh or a mid-cycle update, you get a couple things like new headlights and taillights and then maybe a new dashboard design, but under the skin things stay largely the same. It's not necessarily true right here. What we've got is the B58 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged and twin-scroll turbocharged engine from BMW, aka one of the best 6 cylinders on the market. However, it's got a pretty significant update. It's got a 48-volt mild hybrid system, and you can feel it. What that does is it adds electric torque in between gear changes when you're coming off the line, just to make things feel a little bit sharper, and more importantly, because this is an SUV and it's not got the letter M on it, well, at least not in the name, it makes it smooth and it makes it feel luxurious and expensive. The rest of the powertrain is typical lethal BMW. It's a perfectly tuned, excellent shift logic ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. It goes to all 4 wheels with X-Drive, but this X7, as standard, comes with air suspension. So in sport, it firms up, and in comfort, it settles down and relaxes. But the handling characteristics on this thing are pretty much what you would expect from BMW. You've got a decent amount of steering feedback, it's fairly light, it hefts up in sport mode, the body is nice and neutral, you can huck it into a corner. This thing drives a lot smaller than it actually is. The air suspension helps it feel that way, the anti-roll bars help it feel that way. This thing actually has like road reading software where it can sense the road and read the road and adjust the suspension to give you the best ride. Now, this being a BMW, we're used to talking about the performance and the dynamics and the handling characteristics, and that is important, and it is very good and proficient here. However, this being the entry level, the more relaxed, more tame one, and it being the range-topping SUV, its focus is more luxury than probably anything else. And you can feel that when you dial back into comfort. Everything smooths out, it softens off, you've got acoustic glass keeping things nice and quiet. Your frontward visibility is fantastic. I would like a little bit bigger side mirror, but it's fine. And then, like I said, this 48-volt mild hybrid system, sure, it's good for, under 6 seconds to 60, but it also makes things very, very smooth. Everything just makes sense here. I have regenerative braking here, so I can continually charge the system, so I have enough electric juice to smooth out all of the shifts and to pull away from a light with the most gracious and sophisticated way possible. This may be a BMW, and that means the ultimate driving machine, but it's also the ultimate riding machine. And as we step outside of the car, we are immediately reminded that this is a heavy and thorough update. And it's immediately apparent from the second that you look at the new face. You have new contouring on the hood. You have a split headlight design. You've got an active kidney grille. Of course, it's finished in black, along with the lower fascia, because you do have the BMW shadow line. And let's not forget the gorgeous Brooklyn gray paint that seems to accompany every BMW that we test at International Autos. But hey, I'm not mad about it. Around the side we have body-colored gloss-painted wheel arches, as they should be in a luxury SUV. And they're draped over 22-inch M Sport wheels, which look amazing. Behind those big wheels are upgraded M brakes along with the air suspension. You can go up to 23-inch wheels if you choose, but I like to have a little bit more sidewall and a little bit less wheel for a luxurious ride. And then down the body, of course, we have the typical BMW hockey stick accenting the long body. The profile is very typical SUV shape. which means it maximizes headroom and cargo space. And of course you have black window treatments and black roof rails. And then I think my favorite angle of the car is the rear 3/4. You have an updated taillight design, and you have a pretty aggressive lower rear fascia. On the interior of the X7, we talked about some of the changes that have been made for the mid-cycle update, right? So behind the wheel, we have some adjustments made to suspension. We've got the 48 volt on your B58 engine, as well as the M60 option with the S68. On the face, you have the exterior refresh on the front end, and then the rear. And then on the interior, a lot of the things kind of follow suit and just kind of fall to complement the new iDrive 8 system. This is the first internal combustion BMW that we've tested, and I think the first one that I've hit lots that has a new iDrive 8. We've tested it in the i4 and the iX. It's very good, but this is the first gas-powered car that we've tested with this system. Not that it makes a huge difference. All of the functionality is still there. You've got great graphics, great processing, it's quick. Your reversing cameras and everything is very, very good, typical to what you'd expect from BMW. It's hard because it doesn't really bother me much, but I hear a lot of other people talk about this. The fact that they've removed the climate controls from physical buttons and dedicated buttons into the screen. To me, they always have this shortcut button here at the bottom of your screen, so you can always get to your heated seat, your cooled seat, your fan speed, your climate temperature very, very quickly. It's just one extra step or click than it would have been from iDrive 7. But everything else is very good. Your graphics are fantastic. I really like this system. It's a huge curved screen. It looks high-end, and I think it suits the characteristic and the nature of this interior. The rest of it complements it really well. On your passenger side, you have this X7 lighting thing, which will go red if you're in sport mode, or blue if you're in comfort mode, and it'll also do stuff depending on what you're doing with the car. And then your center vents here have been completely reworked, and you don't even see the slats in the vents anymore. It's just really clean design, and then you've got these tabs to kind of control where the air is going. So you don't have to go into the screen like you would in like a Tesla or like a Rivian. You can still control your vents on your own. And then the rest of it underneath is very clean design. Your center stack here, you've got your glass shifter, which is very cool. Glass start-stop button, glass iDrive wheel, typical controls there. You've got your drive modes, of course, and then of course your 80 millimeters of air suspension travel. And then from like a materials perspective, you have really nice upscale leathers, all of your aluminum trimmings, your leather trimmings, your stitching. It all is very, very nice and definitely fits to be the flagship. You've got a nice big head-up display. You've got your big panoramic sunroof. The third row gets their own dedicated sunroof, and you can option to have that like LED embedded sunroof if you really want to. So it's kind of like mini Rolls-Royce from there. Remember that these two companies share a brand, so it's kind of cool to see that really high-end technology come down into this X7 lineup. It's a really, really cool feature. But this is the big SUV, right? So you can have two different configurations. You can have what we have here, which is the 7-seater. So you have the bench seat in the second row. All of the space back there is really good. You've got your dedicated climate control vents. You've got heated, cooled, and massage seats up front. You have heated seats in the back. I should have mentioned you have heated armrests in the front as well as a heated steering wheel, but you do have those heated seats in the back. The space is good. You've got automatic sunshades or hater blockers or whatever they're called these days for your rear passengers. And then even the third row. It's not a place that myself, like 6'1", 6'1.5", would necessarily want to sit at long term, but it is something that is more usable than a lot of other dedicated, 3-row SUVs are bringing. So I think interior-wise, it's very nice, it's very luxurious, it has very, high-end features, and I think you're not going to be disappointed from an interior perspective. So with that, let's get into the final thoughts. So that's the 2023 BMW X7. Most importantly, we've covered the update. It's got a new face, it's got a new rear exterior design, it's got a new dashboard, new technology, and a new powertrain. So it's an incredibly thorough update. This is not the same car that you got in 2022, but it does still split sport and luxury in an incredible way that seemingly only BMW can pull off. Thank you again to International BMW for letting us have a go, and we'll see you in the next one.